Well, good afternoon. This is Hound Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And what I wanted to discuss today was the idea of saving your seeds this year. And of course, this is one of the important things about buying heritage seeds, is that they are savable. If you buy a hybridized seed, what will happen when you save that seed and you plant it the following year, you will get one of the 2 or 3 varieties that was used to hybridize that particular variety. And it actually takes, I believe it's 7 years of selective breeding to bring that back to a true strain. And so getting seeds that are already at that point, and that's why they're called heritage seeds, or heirloom seeds as sometimes they're called, and you can use these to replant and that plant will breed true. Now what you can do as well as that, so you've got a heritage plant that's going to breed true, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick the very best off that crop. It'd be the best pods, the best tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever it is. It's the best looking, the cucumber that has all of the qualities that you like in a cucumber. That's the cucumber that you need to pick and save the seeds from. Now I will get into another video, because tomato seeds, cucumber seeds, pepper seeds all have to be washed before you can save them. That gelatin that's around tomato seeds is basically a sprouting inhibitor, because you don't want it sprouting in the tomato, but it's after it's rotted and it's been rained on and so on and so forth, those seeds get washed off and they will grow again. So there is quite a process for saving tomato seeds and cucumber seeds and that kind of thing. But the other seeds, as I will show you when we go around, are just fairly simple. You just pick the best that you can see on the plant. And I mentioned actually in the video too, with the peas, pick them green. Okay, when they're full, before they actually dry out on the vine, you want to pick those, because I found it's very hard to tell once they dry out whether it was a nice big full pod or whether it's just because you might have a lot of peas in there, but you don't know whether those peas really filled out or what have you. So I usually pick them when they're green, so you can see quite clearly. But the same with the Algonquin squash. I'll be saving the best looking pumpkin, sorry, not squash, Algonquin pumpkin. I'll be saving the best of those seeds, and with all of my squashes and potatoes too. And this is basically genetic selection, and you'll find if you do this year over year, this is the kind of genetic modification that we need. And it's just working along with nature, and you're just helping it along, picking the best and replanting that best next year. And when you do that, you know, several seasons in a row, you're going to start noticing that just about all of your peas are nice, full, fat peas. All of your tomatoes are nice and big and ripen well, and you know, hardy and this kind of stuff. So you know, and you can make a huge difference just by selective seed saving. Anyway, let's take a little look around at the seeds that I've already saved or I'm drying out, and we'll have a little chat about that, and I'll come back and do a quick wrap up. Okie dokie, here we go. Okay, so here's a little bit about seed saving. These are my peas. That'll be my seed crop for next year. And now what I recommend that you do is that you pick these when they're green, and you can see what kind of a pea it's going to be. You can see every pea has formed fully in that pod, and that's what I want to keep as a seed pod. And as you can see, once they dry out, it's not so easy to tell. So pick them when they're green, so you know, and just put them in a drying area like this. Same with this. This is my dill, and you can see it's still quite green, but the seeds are formed, and they're at what I call the point of no return. There's enough energy in those stems to finish off those seeds. And I just put them on some paper here, and when they're fully dried out, you just tap those and all those seeds will just fall off onto that paper, and you can scoot them up and put them into a paper bag, not a plastic bag but a paper bag. And same here for cilantro. And same idea, you put them on a newspaper, and when they're fully dried out you just tap those and they will all fall out. So these will be trading seeds here, and we're just going to go down, take a look in the garden where I actually took these from, and you'll see what I've left behind. And these are my nettle seeds. Very prolific, very prolific. Now this, you might remember, is the bokchoy. And these are little seed pods right here, and what I will be doing to get the seeds out of these seed pods is I will be just rubbing them between my hands over a bucket with some paper around, and then these seeds are so small, I'll show you in a second just how small they are in this pod. You can actually use a sieve for your final grade down, and you might get a little bit of dust and a little bit of chaff, but not a whole heck of a lot. But yeah, you want to be somewhere where there is a good air circulation and dry, no dampness. So as you can see, there's a seed pod that I've broken open, and those little dots there, those are the seeds. They're maybe 1/2 millimeter in diameter, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. So they're tiny. They will easily go through a sieve. So here we are. I've left about 3-4 plants of dillweed, and when I clean this bed out, I'll give this a good clean up, put some more compost in there, and I will replant those seeds, and I will get another crop before fall. Same with the cilantro. I'll clean out this bed completely, and there'll be enough seed there to replant, and yeah, we'll have another little crop of cilantro before winter gets here. Yeah, I was just tidying up the beans today, gave them a good weeding, and same with the leeks, gave them a good going over, and we're supposed to be getting a good rain tonight. I love that flower. It's one of the seeds that I started out of a mystery bag. Not quite sure what it is, but I sure like that flower. And as you can see, that rain is badly needed. Anyway, we're supposed to get a really good drenching. They're calling for 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And I don't think these potatoes are dying from lack of moisture. They're just finishing off. That's what potatoes do. They get to a certain point and they start finishing off. So now you can see that the peas are starting to die off a little bit, but there are still some flowers on there, and there are new peas growing, and so I will continue to collect seeds as I see those, as I see the green pods. Then you can see exactly what they're going to look like, and pick those and put them in your collection, and the rest eat, put them into soups, trade, whatever you want to do with them. But peas will do this when they get towards the end of their growth season. Remember, they're a very early plant. You can usually put those in just past March, early April. And so here we are, we're on the August long weekend. So yeah, we're getting pretty well close to the end of their season. But I do like these marigolds. They're just getting ready to flower. And look at the size of them. I do believe they're French marigolds. Now the onions. What I do with my onions is about the 1st of August, I just lay those flat. You just hit them with your hand and they will lay over, and that just basically forces all of the energy into the root, and so that you get a nice good solid onion. But you can see they are doing really well. We're going to get a good crop of onions this year. There is an unbelievable number of cucumbers on this vine. I think this was a really good idea to grow it up the pole. I don't know whether it's going to reach the top, but it still is growing, and all the way up, tons and tons and tons and tons of flowers, and so I'll be getting lots of cucumbers. Now I gave my pumpkins a good cleaning out, a good trimming, and they've actually wilted. It is, like I say, very dry. They will be looking forward to some rain, but I can't believe the number of pumpkins growing on this plant all over the place. And the same on the other side, acorn squash. I can't wait to dig these up and see just how many potatoes I have under there this year. I'm hoping for a good crop because I'm going to store these. I want this to get me not only through till next springtime, early summer, but also to give me a seed crop for next year. So we're going to see how that goes. So as you can see, the lettuce has gone to seed, and you're going to let that flower out. It'll be pollinated, and those will all be seed pods. Same with the romaine, and the same with this red leaf lettuce. So yes, this year it's all going to be about saving seeds. I'll be doing the same with the tomatoes. I'm going to show you how to do that later on in the season. Of course, don't need to save seeds with strawberries. They just send out their runners. And the same with the peppers. I just picked a whole bunch of these. And of course there are the seeds off the basil. Now, I don't know if you can see there, but I have some interesting companions in my greenhouse this year. And they've made a nest up there. I saw them a little while back, and anyway, I said to them, you know, you can stay there because I need the pollinators, but you can't sting me. And you know what? They haven't come near me. They've been taking care of their stuff. I've been taking care of my stuff. And of course you can see that there are a whole bunch of eggs in there. Anyway, we're at that point where I just can't be too fussy about the pollinators that come into my greenhouse. Now, they're not too happy because you can hear the rain coming down on the greenhouse, but they have their own little environment in here, and so they whiz around and they pollinate my tomatoes and whatever else I've got in here. Anyway, what I've noticed is that since there are fewer honeybees around, these guys seem to be a lot less aggressive, although I will say, now I told you I made the deal with these guys, but I had a friend come in here the other day, and she no sooner walked under this thermometer and she got stung twice by these hornets, which would lead you to believe that they can actually tell the difference between people. I'm not quite sure how that works or what kind of a brain they've got in there, but I have never been stung. They don't bother me. They do their thing, I do my thing. Anyway, I'm going to leave them there and we'll see what happens. These hornets tend not to build a big nest, you know, like those paper wasps have the huge nest up in an eave somewhere. These guys usually make just like a little, this probably won't get much bigger than it is right now. Anyway, we'll see if we can coexist. It's working so far. I'll let you know how that works out. The grapes are getting bigger. I can't wait to see what they taste like. There's quite a few bunches in there, hiding behind these tomatoes. Now, I've had a bit of a problem with these. I don't know why. The other tomatoes are fine. I have just fertilized these, but I've been getting a blossom end rot on the end of my tomatoes, on this particular, these Italian paste tomatoes. And if you want to know what blossom end rot looks like, you turn up the tomato. It's like it's a wonderfully nice red tomato, and you turn it at the bottom and that bottom has rotted out, and it's usually a symptom of overwatering, and that overwatering leaches out the calcium. So it's a sign of calcium deficiency, and if you start getting blossom end rot, add some calcium to the soil and some fertilizer. So I've just added that the other day, and I'm hoping that that is going to resolve the issue. But it is interesting that on this side with these tomatoes, and well, you can see no problem at all, just a nice big beefsteak tomato, and they've both been treated exactly the same way. So I can only assume that it is a different type of tomato, and one likes a little less water than the other. The other thing that's happened is I've had a well witcher over and witched the well, and that is the location. I was just a little bit off center there. As you can see, I've been digging back here. Anyway, the backhoe will be in next week, and we'll start pulling this back and opening up this well. And that will make a big difference to my watering, although it's become quite a little wildflower rockery here. It's amazing to think these chunks of limestone are over 250 million years old. This was an ancient seabed where I live, and this is sedimentary limestone. But there's mint over there growing wild, and down here is oregano. Unbelievable how that plant will spread. Anyway, it's going to be great to have my own well on the property, and it'll get this little corner cleaned right up. So the reason I wanted to make this video is because I think that seed saving is going to be hugely important in the future. I think from this year's experiences, I don't know whether you had the same experience I did, but springtime, it seemed like seeds just went away. The co-op wouldn't sell to non-commercial enterprises, so all of those seeds and seed potatoes were not available to the public, and seed sales were shut down. They were deemed non-essential, and so you couldn't get seeds. Now luckily I had a premonition that this was going to be an issue, so I got into a garden centre and I bought up like about $300 or $400 worth of seeds to make sure that that didn't happen. And but this is going to be what the future is going to look like. It's not going to be easy to get seeds all the time, so we are going to have to learn to save our seeds, and I'm making this a priority this year, and I am probably going to make a second video on this because it is so important. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below, and in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Take care. Bye.